Friends, Romans, countrymen, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Assuming you like my videos. And you should, because they're amazing. This is part two of the math on the October 3rd, 2020 exam. This is the calculator section. All the questions, format might look a little funky in this file because I had to make this PDF myself. This isn't the official QAS, but it is the actual official questions that appeared on the test. And I'm gonna go through them and you're gonna love it. So without further ado, let's check these bad boys out. Number one, what value of n satisfies the given equation? Okay. What value of n satisfies the given equation? Just solve it for n. 2n equals negative 22, so n equals negative 11. B is the answer. Number two, the ratio of trumpets to violins. The particular music class is 1 to 3. There are 9 trumpets. How many violins are there? So there has to be 3 times as many violins as there are trumpets, which means that there has to be 27 of them. D. Number 3. Oh, this one looks interesting. We have a bunch of information. Okay. For which of the following surfaces is the range of albedos the greatest? Well, I'm looking at the ranges and it looks like the range is just the biggest value minus the smallest value. So the range would be the max minus the min. So the one that is the largest is clearly for snow. So D would be the answer. Number 4. In a desert region, the total amount of sunlight falling on the surface with an area of 1 square meter is 1,000 watts, which of the following would be the amount of sunlight and watts reflected from this 1 square meter surface. So let's see. So we're looking at the desert region, right? So that's over here, where the albedo has to be between 0.26 and 0.29. So in other words, when we divide x, the value we're looking for, by 1,000, this needs to be somewhere between 0.26 and 0.29, and the only one that I see clearly that would do this would be answer choice A, so that is the one that I am picking. Number 5. Okay, more table stuff. If a male dog that received the vaccine during the month of July selected a random, okay, so we're looking at males, so that's this column right here. What is the probability that it's an Alaskan Malamute? So that's 6 out of 10, which is 0.6, so C is the answer. Number 6, most appropriate linear model for this data. Well, we started about positive 7, so we know it can't be A or B, and we're going downwards. So the slope is negative, so the answer choice has to be D. Number 7, the area of a square is 36 square inches. What is the length of a side of it? Well, in a square, area is just sides squared, so which is the square root of 36, which is 6. Number 8. Okay, we have a funky graph over here. Approximately how many minutes did it take after the exercise period ended for the average heart rate to first return to the average heart rate before the exercise period began? Well, before the period began, it was like at 5 minutes, right? So it was like right here. And then to get back was right here. And cool. And it ended at 15 minutes. So it ended like right here. So it looks like it took basically about 9 or 10 minutes just looking at it. So I'm going to pick answer A. Number 9, a bunch of stuff. What's the question? Which of the following expressions gives the amount of money they count after 1 year? Okay, well, this one is after 2 years, and they made the exponent 2. So after 1 year, it should just be 200 times 1.02 raised to the first power, which would be answer choice B. Number 3, 3x equals 8y, x and y are both positive, which of the following is equal to 40y? Well, the way you can get to 40y is you multiply 8y by 5. So that means 40y is also going to be equivalent to whatever 3x times 5 is going to be, which is 15x. So the answer choice would be D. Okay. Breezing through. Number 11. Let's see. They're like giving us so much information here, just tons of information. Like fucking models and summaries, like bleh, yeah, vomit comet. Number 11. Based on the model, how many teachers are predicted to be in the high school in 2017? Well, let's see what they told us. Really should have read through this before the question, but I was just lazy. N is the number of years after 2002. Okay, so 2017 is 15 years after 2002. So that means number of teachers is going to be, they told us the teacher function is 80 plus N, so it's going to be 80 plus 15. Let me make that 80 look nicer. 80 plus 15, which is going to be equal to 95, which is answer C. Number 12, which of the following is the graph of function S? Well, just let's see. We know it's positive slope, positive y-intercept that's at about 1280. So A looks like it could work. B, of course, cannot. C, the y-intercept is too low. And D, it's not because that one's staying constant. It's not going up. So 12 would be A. Number 13, based on the model, what is the first year in which the predicted number of teachers would be greater than 90? So actually, it looks like, can we use any other information? No, I have no idea. Okay, well, greater than 90 the very first year. So let's see. We're told it's 80 plus N, right? Where N is the number of years after 2002. So N would have to be 11. Because if N were 10, we would get to 90. But we need to be greater than 90. So N must be 11. So it's 2002 plus 11, which is going to be 2013. So the answer should be B. Number 14, another table. At least these tables are easy. But man, there's so many of them. Okay. Okay, bunch of turtles and masses and stuff. We should read through all of them, blah, blah, blah. Which of the following is true about the length of the Aldabra giant tortoise in relation to the median length of the 9 turtles and tortoises? Well, okay, so let's see. The Aldabra, where are we? Giant tortoise, where are we? It's this one, right? And its length is 150. Compared to the median length of them, let's see what. Well, we have 9 of them, right? So let's see what's in the middle. Lowest is 81, then 95, then 100, then 100, and then we've got 140 is the 5th one. That's the median one. So the giant tortoise is 10 bigger than the median. So that answer is going to just be C. Number 15. Okay, some data set stuff. What is the range of the combined data set? Again, the range is just the range is just the biggest value minus the smallest value. So that's simply 160 because that's the biggest value minus 10 because that's the smallest value for an answer of 150. Number 16. At the beginning of the study, the number of bacteria in a population is 150,000, doubles every hour. Which one predicts the population after X hours? I mean, you can plug some values in and test it out. Or if you notice that it's probably going to be, or you can tell that it's going to be B. But like it makes sense, right? Because after 1 hour, it should double. So if you plug 1 in for X, we should get an answer of 300,000. And the answer that does that is B. Done and done. Number 17. Which of the following XY is a solution to this? Which of the following could be a value of X? So let's see what we got. So they're both equal to Y, so let's set them equal to each other. Whoopsie. There we go. So X minus 7 is going to be equal to X plus 3 times X minus 7. Cool. So looking at this, what I might quickly try to do in my head is, if there's an X minus 7 on both sides, like if we just divide both sides by X minus 7, we would get X plus 1 is equal to, X plus 3 is equal to 1. So X would be equal to negative 2. However, that's not one of our answer choices, unfortunately. So we're not gonna do that. So so instead we're gonna do something else. Instead, we're gonna just solve this the old-fashioned way. So x minus 7 is equal to x plus 3 times x minus 7. So we're gonna FOIL this out, combine everything, and then factor it again. So x minus 7 is going to be equal to x squared minus 7x plus 3x minus 4x minus 21. Combine like terms. X squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. Factor it. So x minus 7 times x plus 2. So our negative 2 is going to be an answer like we got before, but x is also going to be equal to 7. So D would be the answer. Number 18, the speed of a lightning bolt is approximately 320 million feet per second. What is the speed in yards per minute? So we're just going to do the conversion. So we're going to have to convert this into yards. So it's 320 million. There we go. So it's basically 320 like a million. I'm going to say M for million. And it's currently million like feet per second. So we're going to have to multiply this by, it's 1 yard over 3 feet. And then seconds to minutes times 60 seconds over 1 minute. And then just put that into the calculator, basically. Let's see. So we're going to get, 320 divided by 3 equals times 60 equals 6,400. So that's 6,400 million. So our answer is simply going to be C. Number 19, we have a function. The constant is an estimate for which of the following? Well, let's see. This is number of students 2 years after 1969. So that means that the number that's by itself is simply where the function basically started. So that's the number of students enrolled in 1969. Because at that point, the years that passed after 1969 was 0. And if we plug 0 in, we're going to get 10,268. So that one makes perfect sense. So A is the answer. Cool, that's 6 minutes left. Number 20. Let's see. Okay. A company found a bunch of information. Which of the following best describes the slope of the graph in the xy plane? So slope is always when x increases by 1, the function or the y value goes up by whatever the value of the slope is, whatever is the coefficient of the x. So it's just looking at it, it can't be A. So it could be B, but the 544, that's not the slope, right? The slope is 44, not 544. So B is out. C says 500, but that's the y-intercept, so that's out. For every increase of 1, the average customer rating, the estimated increase in income is 44. Correct, because that's what the slope is. So D is the answer. Oh, almost skipped 21. How many solutions does the system of equation above have? Okay, well, let's try to solve it. So what we could do is subtract the two equations from each other and see what we get. I'm gonna subtract the top equation from the bottom equation. So we're gonna have 4x minus y equals 3. We're gonna subtract 2x minus y equals 3. Subtract this whole thing. So this is gonna get us 2x equals 0. So if x equals 0, which means that there's only one solution. So B would be the answer. Number 22, we have a parabola, which of the following could define the function r. So basically, you need to know what the vertex form of a parabola is, because that's what all of these things are here. It's a sad parabola, which means that the a value basically, there has to be a negative sign there, because they told us all the variables are positive. So we know it can't be C or D, so it's got to be either A or B. And then from this, if you know what the standard vertex form equation would be, it's going to be A, because it's A times x minus the x-coordinate of the vertex squared plus the y-coordinate of the vertex, which matches up with answer choice A. 23, which of the following is equivalent to this? Well, let's rewrite it. So this actually becomes x plus root 2 times x minus root 2. Because when you fold this out, you get x squared minus 2 over x minus root 2. So those cancel out, and you're just left with x plus root 2, which is going to be D. Yes. Number 24, which of the following represents the positive number r increased by 5%? That's just 1.05 r. C. Number 25, what is the median? Well, the median is the number that's in the middle. Let's see how many total terms we've got. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 17 terms. So the middle of the 17 terms, when you line them up from least to greatest, is going to be whatever the 9th term is going to be. So the 9th term is going to be, well, let's see. 1 appears once. Then we've got 2, 2, 2, 2. So we're at 5. Then we've got 3, 3. That's a 7. Then we've got 4, 4, 4. 9. That's the 9th term. So our median is going to be C4. Number 26. Bunch of information. Okay. Well, we start at 60,000 gallons, right? It burns 5 gallons per mile flown, and it flies at an average speed of 550 miles per hour. We want to know how much remains after remaining fuel T hours after the trip began. So that means every hour it's losing 550 times 5, which is 2750 gallons of fuel, right? That's losing per hour. So the answer is going to be D. And again, that's because, right, 5 gallons of fuel per mile flown flies at 550 miles per hour. That means every hour it's burning through 550 times 5, which is 2750. That's how we got D. 27. No real solutions. Which of the following must be true? When they give you a quadratic and they talk about the number of real solutions, it's always talking about the discriminant. The discriminant is that when you have like the quadratic formula, it's what's under the square root sign. B squared minus 4ac. If b squared minus 4ac, they said it has no real solutions, which means that b squared minus 4ac has to be less than 0. Because it has 2 real solutions if it's bigger than 0, 1 real solution if it's equal to 0, no real solutions if it's less than 0. So b squared minus 4 times 3 times 5 has to be less than 0. So b squared minus 60 has to be less than 0. So b squared has to be less than 60. So A is the answer. Okay, number 28. Lines Q and R, the xy plane are perpendicular and intersect at the origin. And if a line R passes through the point 1, K, what is the equation of line Q? Okay, so we actually know 2 points, even though it looks like we only know 1 point. We know the point, since this goes through the origin, 0, 0, and then 1, K. So we know that the slope is going to be k minus 0 over 1 minus 0. So slope is k of line R anyway. However, we know that the lines are perpendicular, right? So slopes are negative reciprocal. So the slope of our equation is going to be negative 1 over k. So we know that the answer can't be A, the answer can't be D, because those slopes are not negative 1 over k. And D might trick some people, but indeed, the negative 1 over k is the y-intercept, not the slope. So now, to figure out whether the answer should be B or C, well, remember, it goes through the origin, right? So 0, 0 should work. So for whichever answer choice 0, 0 works, that's going to be the answer. Well, if we plug 0, 0 into B, we're going to get 0 equals negative 0 over k. So B works. But if we plug it in for C, it's not going to work, because that 1 in the numerator is going to mess stuff up for us. We're going to have a 1 in the top, so it's not going to get us a 0. So we know that B is going to work. Next is number 29. We've got the circle and we have a weird shaded region. The question is asking, what is the area of the shaded region? Well, the way you get the area of the shaded region is basically you have to take the area of something that you know and subtract the area of something else you know, like a normal shape, and then you'll be left with the weird shaded region portion. Well, we know we have this area over here with the triangle and the shaded region. We know that's 60 degrees, so that's going to be so we need to use sector area. We know it's going to be 1/6 of the area of the circle. So we're going to start with doing pi r squared, but it's going to be pi r squared times theta over 360, which is 60 over 360. So this is going to end up being pi r squared is 16 pi, and essentially times 1 over 6. So we're going to be left with like 8 pi over 3 is that area of that entire sector. But then what we can do to get the area of the shaded region is now subtract the area of the triangle. So the area of the triangle is a little trickier. Let me zoom in on it a little bit. Because we know that this is an equilateral triangle because it's 60, 60, 60. So what you can do is do this. We're going to turn it into a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So this will be 60. This part is going to be 30. So in the 30, 60, 90 triangle, we know everything, right? The hypotenuse is 4. The short side is 2. And this side is going to be 2 root 3. So now we know the height of the triangle. So the area of the triangle is going to be really easy. The area of the triangle is going to be simply be 1/2 base times height. So now we're going to take the area of the entire equilateral triangle. So this is going to be 1/2 times 4 times 2 root 3. So that's going to become, let's see, 4 root 3. So the area of the shaded region is going to be 8 pi over 3 minus 4 root 3. Now that's not quite one of our answer choices, but it basically is equivalent to D, right? Because if you do D out, you distribute that 1/3 out, we're going to get 8 pi over 3 minus 4 root 3. So D is the answer. And last multiple choice question. Yes, almost done. We've got a survey of 30 students. The number of siblings who had one sibling is 3 times the number and who had 2 or more siblings. Okay, so let's say S is one sibling. S is one sibling. So S is 3n. Okay, and it's the number who have 2 siblings. If 6 students have no siblings, what represents this equation? Okay, well, S is 3n, right? And then represents this equation. So basically, we have to take all the students who have 2 more siblings, take all the students who have 1 sibling, and then add S to it, and we're going to get 30. So that's going to end up being, let's see, if S is 3n, so we're going to do 3n plus n plus 6 should give us 30. So 4n plus 6 should give us 30. So that's going to be C. Cool. Cool. Grid-in time, baby. Okay, number 31. For how many of the 10 airports was the percent of flights with delayed arrivals less than predicted by the line of best fit? Well, we just count the points that are below the line of best fit for this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. So it's just 6. Boom. Number 32, a bunch of information. What is the measure of GCF? So that's this angle right here. Well, let's say what we know. We know that F is 40. From what did they tell us? They said a bunch of stuff is congruent. So this angle is going to also be 40, which means that the remaining angle is 180 minus 40 minus 40. So that's just going to be 100. Boom. Number 33, what is the value of m? So what's the slope? Okay, just pick 2 points and calculate the slope. Let's use this point and then this point. So we're gonna do 2 comma 5 and 0 comma 2. So slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 5 minus 2 over, and this m equals 5 minus 2 over 2 minus 0. So this is simply going to be 3 over 2. Great. Number 34, a bunch of information. According to the table, what fraction of the cornfields where I spot was observed? What fraction of the cornfields where I spot was observed? Okay. So here. Needed the fungicide was 30 out of 40. Which is 3 out of 4. Done. Number 35. The average rate of change in miles per year from 1916 to 1926 is m. What is the value of m? So average rate of change is just fancy lingo for slope. So they just want to know what the slope was from 1916 to 1926. So that's a change of 10 years. We had a change of what? 24,000. So it's 24,000 over 10. So that's simply 2,400. Number 36. Painting crew painted a total of 20 houses in July. Okay. In August, it was 20% more. So in August, it would have been 20 times 1.2, which is 24. What fraction of the total houses were painted in August? So now in total, we had the 20 in July, 24 in August, that's 44. In August, it was 24. So now we just simplify this down. This is going to become, divide them both by 4, 6 over 11. Donezo. And almost donezo with the rest of this. A car was listed with a price of 12,000. It was decreased by P% to 9,600. What is the value of P? Okay, so it was decreased by some percent. So percent change is simply new value minus original over original. So this is just going to be 9,600 minus 12,000 over 12,000. Stick that into your calculator. Let's see, 9,600 minus 12,000 equals divided by 12,000. So I got minus 0.2, which means it went down by 20%. And you have to take that value and multiply it by 100. So technically I should have written times 100%. So we would take the negative 0.2 times 100%, which equals minus 20%. So it went down by 20%. And last question, number 38. We got a rather complicated looking system of equations, and we want to know the product of 1/3 t plus 5 and 1/2 u minus 4. So here's how I'm going to make this easier. Make 1/3 t plus 4 be represented by x, and then the 1/2 u minus 4 be represented by y. So then it gets way easier, because then your equation is simply x plus y equals 37, and x minus y equals 19. And now you can just solve it, right? Like if you add these together, 2x is going to be equal to 56, right? So x is equal to 28. Okay, cool. Well, if x is equal to 28, well, we know x plus y is 37, so y is equal to 9. And now, 1/3 t plus 5 times 1/2 u minus 4 is the same thing as x times y. So all we're going to do is do 28 times 9. Let's see what that's going to be. 28 times 9 equals 252. So that's the answer. and you are done. So again, thanks for watching this video. I had posted the other video for the non-calc section from the same test. If you have any other questions, if you want to check out the other videos, go look at them. Again, if you haven't liked the video, like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment box below, and I will reply to each and every one of them. Okay. Catch you later, amigos.